So that's where the carefulness and the awareness of the energy that's in the atmosphere, like me and you posted in our chat wise about the phases. These are phases, so it can take a part of your psychological makeup, and the spirit can take over and have you going through your psychosis. You wonder why, damn, what's eating you? Damn, why is he so mad? What's eating us? Because we're suffering from parasites. So when you got when I was paralyzed, I had to realize why I'm in this wheelchair, what happened, how do I make this right, make amends. Because I told the panel yesterday, when you sit in when you take, I told Or, I said, let me show you something of a Buddhist monk. Because for the panel, if you don't know my story, I'm walking again. I got out the wheelchair. I'm walking. Liz know my story. I'm just revising of how I healed through frequency and vibration, and how you can really get out of your nervous system, and the power of positive and mentalism thinking, vibrating. I walked again. I'm 54 years old. Liz know me. This is my friend. She knows me. And I'm not trying to make this about me. I'm just making an example of an experience that I know something because I went through it. I didn't go to get this from academics. No, this is a real experience. So sometimes people get it twisted when I tell them, like, no, this is coming from the horse's mouth. Woman, I sat in a wheelchair in 2017, gunshot wound to my spinal cord, T4, thoracic spinal cord incomplete injury. And miraculously, I walked again within the matter of 13 months. I got myself out of that chair. And it took a mental construct and a breaking of spirit and a healing revelation that I had to go through. A lot of people will find that far-fetched, but it's not a far-fetched. It's when you tuned and tapped into the lands and nature and the cosmos, well, the astros there will heal you. And that's why the high frequency creators opened up the space, because I felt, nah, man, these space invaders are tearing everything down. People are running around blaming me, blaming you, blaming this, blaming that. It's his fault. Jesus Christ, when's somebody gonna vibe on a high frequency and say, yo, chill out, calm your nerves, talk to the waters, look at Mother Nature, Jesus. But I'll land with that. I just want to open it up and say that, man, some of us vibe on high frequencies and these people just can't keep up.
Hey, that's a fact. That's 100% a fact. It kind of comes off across as just being authentic in yourself, and when you're authentic, logic doesn't
Amen.
always have to be applied. And down here in this physical realm, especially on this app, that's like the nature of having a quote unquote high IQ. You got to be able to prove it with the eyes. If you can't see it, then it doesn't exist. And that frame of thinking is holding people back. They got to really understand that, like what you said, it's a high frequency vibration. Understanding that when you do start to shift people's perspective of the matrix or the paradigm, how they think, it will be uncomfortable at times. It's gonna put them in front of the mirror and be like, all right, well, so how much work do I actually have to do versus being comfortable day in and day out. So yeah, it's a valuable conversation to have this right here. That's Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, brother. We
I
listen.
bet. I just want to make sure I didn't want to do too much. All right, so My take on it, and especially today, we have the full moon that was going across on the 13th. It's well, I'm not sure exactly when it is, but what I do know is that there are updates, uploads, downloads, however you want to perceive it, that are going down as we speak. I didn't get no sleep, and I feel great energetically. My body tells me,
Exactly. Keep cooking. Yeah.
then I know that y'all on the same time because look, we in the space pretty early, so y'all got the download, and if you didn't, I'm sure that you will uh, when you listen to this, or if you are in here. However, what I can say is this 9 universal year is way more connected to karma than we may have understood. The 9 ether, the 9, just the number 9 overall, it shows itself at its greatest uh, points within this physical realm. Like it takes 9 months for a woman to give birth to a child. It takes 9 showing itself in several ways for you to understand the power behind the 9. Let's just say that. And me personally, I like to get into elemental geometry, which is astrology, in other words, but it's a different level. When you get to understanding why things are working the way that they are, it's no more complicated than Pokemon. Fire and water go together. Don't really mix too well down here, and other elements don't necessarily go alongside with each other. But once you understand how they do combine or clash or counter each other, things become a lot easier because now you're looking at yourself not only physically but mentally and spiritually. So you connect all three of the realms, and your ascension will accelerate because you're not just living in one realm now. You're operating as a multi-dimensional avatar within the matrix. Today specifically, yeah, it seems like there's a lot of good that's going on alongside the bad. Like some people like to get into the spirituality communities and think that it's always going to be love and light, but you are a dark entity just like you are a light entity. So when you understand exactly what the darkness is, you start to become more connected with the self because you are the darkness. And we could see within the anime Naruto and how he's literally fighting against himself for the first season because he has a demon fox that's within him that he later on learns to conquer and tame and use the skills behind the fox to be a stronger avatar in his village. Yeah, there's a lot of shows that show the importance of darkness and light. But yeah, Reg, I see you got your hand up. What's going on?
I was gonna say before we get it to where people get lost in the sauce with what you said, I'll bring it in simplicity's terms, man. The wheels, there's many mansions and many wheels in the heavens, is what Christ is talking about. A lot of these secular religions, they get caught up with just their way and my way, but they don't understand that this is an eschatology and esoteric meaning of a lot of this stuff. And some of us know how to strip this and tie it to the cosmos and the Magi stars. Now, I remember watching Silence of the Lamb, and I remember saying to myself, how does this dude predicts the killers and he's in prison as Jodie Foster kept coming to visit? Now, a lot of people was puzzled, but then when I figured it out, I said, oh, he's watching the moon phases. And when you watch the movie, go back and you'll see that Anthony Hopkins was predicting the moon phases in the prison cell. This is how Billy Boy was killing because he knew the mind of a killer. And so she was like, you're predicting these murders and you're in prison. And he was like, ask Clarice, you don't know, you know how he was. But saying that to say, if you listen to what Hopkins was saying, because she said that that was one of the creepiest roles that she had to put, that scared her. But if you look and listen to what Hopkins is saying, he's predicting the killings on phases of the moon. So when they caught cross dressing Billy Bob, because the thing was, how are you in prison? We can't arrest you for the murders, but you're in prison predicting them. So it was a thing that's why it's called Silence of the Lamb. And the lamb was Anthony Hopkins, the man who's not even out there, but knowing when these killings is come go down. He was doing shaman work. So when you are touching with Passover and moon phases and new moons, bloody moons, full moons, yes, that equates to our energy. That's why wolves howl at the full moon. And then the crescent moon and the 5 point star represents so-called Islam. If you look at Tartaria, Russian flag, it's Tartaria, the 5 point star with the crescent moon. China, 5 point star and crescent moon. So I tell people that these signs and symbols is what I like to abstract because they are energies and they're stargates. If he or she who know how to activate them and understand what the 6 point star as above and so below mean, what the cross means, what the crescent moon and the 5 point star, because out of these symbols are your three main religious systems.
which is Christianity, uh,
Exactly,
Muslim.
Judaism and
Yeah,
Islam. Yes, because what happens is if you take a cross and give it to a Muslim, he's going to say no. Take a take a 6 point star and give it to an Arab, he's going to say, oh no, Judah. Take a so forth and so on. You take a crescent moon and give it to a Jewish man, nah, Muslim, Arab, ah. So you get people that these signs is like showing Dracula a cross. They go I'm just saying. What was it when you show Dracula the cross? That's when he go crazy. Ah, you see the light. Well, that's what some of these signs and symbols with these religions. If I give a rabbi a crescent moon and a fire, Islam, Muslim fanatic, Allahu Akbar, and all that crazy stuff. So rabbinicals ain't gonna take it, but if you give it to the brothers will take it all. So it's like a slide joke, man, that we get up under all this stuff and we understand how to strip it. And well, it's energy centers, they gates, they stargates, but that's another subject.
yeah. I figured exactly where it was that I came across the information, but on a lower, like perverted level of the religions, they all connect and have the star and the crescent within Christianity, Judaism, and the Muslim faith. And I thought that was kind of interesting because I was trying to, if I was a diabolical individual and I wanted to take control of masses, then yeah, I would split it up into different groups, have the same meaning behind the groups, and then also, you know, throw a little bit of diversion within there. So it's just like, wow, you start to backwards engineer the thoughts of what we've been programmed to believe, and you can see these people aren't so damn creative. They're just they were the first ones to the party. They're not creative though. They don't understand how to actually keep someone at a low level for as long as they desire to, because what's going on in this matrix is just energy harvestation, and it's through emotion. People will take the time to believe everything that they see without understanding that they have free will and the ability to think independently. There's a book written by Napoleon Hill called Outwitting the Devil. I suggest you guys give that a listen. It's free audiobook on YouTube. That book is a good one if you ever find yourself going off of your path. And also with the symbolism, like how you mentioned earlier, Reg, the 5 pointed star, and even the sounds with the hip hop music, and like when you see a cop's lights and why they're red and blue, all colors, symbols, sounds, they all emit energy, even in this English language. But it's kind of wild because the law of polarity does exist, If you are gonna believe something, then you're more likely to get that result of what you believe. But everything does have a light and dark, masculine and feminine essence to it. So it's kind of up to you to decide how well of a transmuter or an alchemist or magician or a pharaoh, charmer, enchanter that you want to be, because there's different levels of magic. But the thing is, a lot of people don't even bother to look into what it means to actually transcend from human to God, because you have this levels. You can look back in the Aztec mind culture, the Egyptian culture. I'm not talking about Egypt with a Y. I'm talking about Egypt with an I, and how Anubis, the dog god, God spelled backwards, forth and back, is both dog, the same word, emitting a vibration of 17, is the god of the underworld for a reason. And I find that interesting because dogs are constantly digging holes deeper and deeper, just instinctively. So when you start to pay attention to what's going on in this physical realm, you start to see that there's someone that's telling a story, and then you also have the option to take the wheel and become the narrator of your own story.
Pause. Right there. Stay right there, Mo. Go ahead, so you set the tone, and I'll go after you. I'm gonna piggy on off that. Go ahead, so hey, dog.
Hey, good morning, you guys. Um,
We had to get the
no,
Galactic team together. It's too much going on. Go ahead.
I can dig it. I can dig it. No, I'm so excited to have seen the space and everybody in it. It's awesome. And yeah, I was just really enjoying the topic. And yeah, just man, yeah, forgot what I was gonna say.
No
So
worries.
don't
All
even
right.
worry about it.
Yeah. Okay, you just sit tight, be the queen of the throne like you ladies do. I see my man Lights in. I want to open up with something. There's my shaman brother. What's going on, brother? We opened up a right time, like, because these people are going crazy. The space invaders, what we talked about, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. Ephesians, let me break down Ephesians. You never wrestle against flesh and blood. You wrestle against principalities principalities in higher places. So when I saw a movie called The Philadelphia Experience, Denzel was chasing the demon. The demon was called Azazel. Azazel is known as the goat. What is the goat? The Baphomet, the scapegoat. So when the moon phase is during Aries, April, March, April, May, during the Taurus construct, we're dealing with horns. We're dealing with horny dudes, horny little devils, crescents, and moon phases. So the bull of the Taurus constellation is the horns. And then we get the crab nebula coming soon. So crabs in the bucket is coming soon. Horny horns and goats and Baphomets and Tauristics. We have an infinity loop with the changing of something. The cosmology of the lands is in what I said in Chicago because of the Pope. There's the restoration of Maru back on the lands, not in the Vatican. The lights are out because the energy shifts. So yes, I'm loving the vibe, loving the frequency, and just had to throw that out there. Oh, just to piggyback mode to land the plane with this, the signs and the symbols. It was something I wanted to bring to what you were speaking on about all the crescent moons and the 5-point star. If you look at every 3 weeks, the moon check the phase when the moon is crescent and the north 5-point star, that's a sacred day. That means the womb, something is about to bore, because what happens in the 9th month is when the womb is crescent, the woman is crescent, and she's about to bore the child. Her belly is crescent. So this is why the woven number of 9 is very important. Go ahead, Sola.
Oh my gosh, that's what I was gonna. Yes, I love it. The crowning of oh my gosh, the divine feminine. Did anybody else see how they projected that light display over that famous Jesus statue in South America? They put the Virgin of
Yep.
Guadalupe over it. Yeah, and they crowned her on Mother's Day. Um, and absolutely so profound with the flower moon blooming. It's all about the mother goddess, divine feminine principle, literally blooming and coming to life and in balance inside all of us. Um, so it's been super profound energies lately. I Man, it's been intense, but it's so beautiful. May is the month of major activations. um I spoke a little bit about it yesterday, but in a space. I've been having crazy activations all throughout my body and like in my hands and my arms especially, because I'm having all kinds of the secondary chakras coming online. Um, I always have been super active with my hands, whether it be I was in color guard from middle school until graduation, always was in art, sketching, drawing, painting, coloring, whatever it was. But here in the last couple of years, I haven't been as active. Well, and then I did massage therapy, Reiki, quantum touch, and all that stuff. But here in the last couple of years, I haven't been actively pursuing it or anything quite as much as I used to. So, like, I started getting all kinds of crazy aches and pains, and my hands would get super cold, and like just your energy, if you're not using it in some sort of creative and constructive way, your body's going to let you know. Like, so for me, I had to start getting back into like yoga and doing massages for people, doing my art. Just you have to get that energy flowing. And now here this month, I swear to God, yesterday I woke up and like my whole body was like thrashing and like jerking because I'm having all of this energy like busting through the blocked meridians in my body. Like yesterday I could feel all these little like dams breaking in my forearm and my muscles twitching, and so I was using magnets on my arms and my hands, and it helped, and I could feel the energy just start rushing through the meridians in my arms. And now I can feel like I'm either going to start spontaneously channeling and signing light language or something, because um either that or it's related to the Reiki and the quantum healing, because I feel like I've got lasers coming out of my hands and fingers, and I'm just like pew pew ready to go. Anyway, I'll go ahead and land there. I saw some hands, so um I'm not sure. I see Mo Wisdom, and
Yeah, I go
that's
after
all.
Mo. Go ahead, Mo.
Okay.
I'll go after him.
All right, cool. So yeah, the moon is actually residing and it has been for the last day and a half in the sign of Scorpio. And for those who don't know, Scorpio is the eighth zodiac sign, which is represented by transformation and sexual energy, occult
It
wisdom.
was a eight. It was a 8/3 energy day yesterday too, which also lands on
Hmm.
that same type of vibe.
Yeah, but Scorpio is literally the shedding of the snake, the transformation of the tarantula, and how it literally goes through that metamorphosis and leaves its entire body to create a new one. So as Soul was giving that insight about what she was experiencing, you know, we all uh, we all have sentient energy within us. So those things that are sentient often reflect the same nature nature patterns and the seasons and things of that nature are pretty much going to reflect itself in some way, shape, or form. So animals go through the same energetic changes in their own ways as humans do too. So what's going on is people's consciousness is being reformed, and your body energetically is going to receive a download that, if you are not suppressing yourself, it's going to give you an opportunity and a window to ascend and bring in the new out with the old, because Scorpio literally is transformation. And a big thing behind a big component behind transformation is pain, hurt. You gotta shed the skin. It's not always gonna be pleasurable, but that's the good thing. You know, Mike Tyson and Bruce Lee would often talk about the privilege of pain and how pain can show you that you're actually alive within this matrix. And you'll see, like, you wonder why in the Asian culture that they have developed the skin to be able to walk on hot coals and shit. It wasn't easy the first 5 times, but after the pain comes, then the skin reforms. Before you know it, they don't even feel it the same because they've turned their vessel into a different type of vehicle, which is it's like the movie The Matrix. You know, it's the mind is a computer and the body also has intelligence too. So whatever you choose to do, whether it is you know, train martial arts or become a better public speaker,
Right.
learn how to sing. There's so much behind it, you know. Go ahead, Rich.
Now, I just want to say back to the pain. Once again, you're talking to somebody that was paralyzed, waist down, that's walking again. And I did this with mentalism. And I told, I sat in that wheelchair in 2017, touring. Oh, my guy left, but Liz, no. But saying that to say, I brought that up to Orr because Orr and I had a good space. And I had to let him know that this came with a sacrifice. And he was like, whoa, Reg, it came with a wealth of knowledge. And I said, yeah, young brother, it came with a sacrifice. So I see that you guys are the Wiz of Camelot's, the up and coming, and I'm more of the Gandalf Merlin. I'm the old man, so I have to get my. So that's why I come in and be the column and the pillars. And like I told him, you guys are the generation that's the midgets that's standing on giant shoulders. And what happens with the midget that stands on the giant shoulders? He can see further than the giant. So I want to land with this. I sat in that wheelchair, and when I started reconstructing my thoughts, you know what type of juice came? When I let everything go, when I forgave my relationships, I forgave the shooter, I healed my relationships with people in the past. I used to sit and talk to spirits and replay my life like, if I had a chance, how would I do this? Because I had nothing but time in a wheelchair while time passed me by. I had nothing but time in a wheelchair while time passed me by. Broads that I used to date, I couldn't do it no more, but they loved me. I had to learn love, a difference between lust, to use the serotonin and the dopamine to turn it into love instead of lust. So my taste buds wasn't of lust. It was like, do you love me? I can't have sex no more. I'm in a wheelchair. That other guy's having sex. I want to die. I got to be an alpha male. Give it back. Why? And God said, I'll show you why. If you stop being a crybaby, I'll give it back. You have to go through the shedding, Reggie. Yeah, go to hell, cry, put the pillow. Yeah, get the gun. Oh, yeah, take it, kill it, do it, Reg. I dare you. But before you pull that trigger, call one of your friends. Maybe he can talk you out of it. And what did I do at 2 a.m? Oh man, I want to kill myself. He said, no, you don't. Because if you did, you wouldn't have called me. Stay right there, Reg. And I never thought about suicide again. And that's when I figured it out. Because I needed someone to hear me cry, hear me and tell me, yeah, cry, baby, but you're tough guy. Bring that toughness. So this is when you take life headstrong, take on anyone. You bring out the best serotonin in your juice. And so when you get that good vibe and that energy, think about your tongue. It start tasting good, saliva. That's when that's that good juice. So think about if you transcend that into the bedroom. The woman is going to give you the best plums that she ever gave. That's that good fruit, not that sour diesel. But I love you guys. Hey, man, I got to freaking get to work. So as soon as I drive across town, give me about 20 minutes. I'll pop back in. I want to bump my music while I get this Tough Tuesday going. I got to go feed the homeless like I do every Tuesday. Beautiful vibe, beautiful space. Liz, I love you. Do not leave, man. You guys do not go nowhere. Okay.
Dude, that's so I love Reg. Really quick, I just wanted to say, Ginger's not in here yet, but so I had this really, really cool synchronicity with Ginger the other day. I'm gonna have to get the link for the video and show it. But Ginger was in a space with me and Mello the other night, and she told a story about her horse, and it was a really, really beautiful story about gaining trust. And the horse that she rescued was going to actually get put to death, and she rescued it. And so what's fascinating is this lady that I've been following for a long time, she channels Archangel Raphael, and she dropped a video on Sunday called "The Shining Ones Make Contact," and it was really funny because the Shining Ones reminds me of the Anunnaki, and I had spent that whole day in an Anunnaki space. But the lady that channels Archangel Raphael was talking about how we're moving into the phase like the great white galactic horse, and the story that Ginger told was exactly what this lady channeled. It was so wild. In the meditation, the great white galactic horse, which think about it, Pegasus, unicorns, all that stuff, right? You during the channeling, it had us envision this beautiful, magnificent steed running right at us, and then it stops and it puts its third eye against our third eye, and we get the download, right? Well, that was Ginger's story. She had rescued this horse and brought it home, and it charged her. And it was charging her, and she like it took her a minute to realize, oh no, I'm in trouble. I'm about to get mowed down by this horse. So Ginger just all of a sudden like she embraces it and runs up to the horse and like just spreads her arms out and like belly up, and the horse just skid to a complete halt right in front of her, and Ginger was like, oh my god, am I dead? What just happened? And then the horse just goes right in her face, and it was just so funny. I shared it with her the other day, and she's like, oh my god, I'm so glad that you shared that. That was beautiful. But what a wild synchronicity, right? That's just crazy. So go ahead, Lightning, I see your hand, buddy. Did you want to say something, Lightning?
Okay, I was gonna say something really fast.
Go ahead, Wise.
I hear you. I'm doing dishes. That sounds fire as fuck. And that makes me want to look into the Pegasus constellation because I know there's a fucking horse constellation up there somewhere.
There's a book. It's
Hey,
called The
Wise, what
Pale
happened
White
to
Horse.
Catherine's account?
Okay,
Sorry,
wait.
guys, back.
Oh, all right, cool, Lightning. Hold on just a second. Dog and oh shoot, and Anoki and I accidentally denied your request. Here, I'm sending an invite to speak. My bad, bro. Okay, well, I missed what Dog and Mo Wisdom was about to say. So,
Well, I was just saying that what happened to Catherine's account? Did she get banned or something?
oh, I have no idea.
Okay, so I was gonna say there's a book, and you want to be careful when you go and research it. It's one of those books that are on like a watch list. So if you happen to check it out from a library or something like that, this is just words that I was told that you might have some people that want to know about your whereabouts. But it's called The Pale White Horse, and it's a story about a general that served in the military for about 40 years, and
By
every
William Cooper,
yeah,
Bill Cooper.
uh-huh.
Yep. There's a redacted and a non-redacted one.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so the original one was pretty much him saying or sharing everything that he saw. And I'll tell you one of the things that I was told, because I haven't gone through the book entirely. My neighbor, he's a 50-year-old Chinese man, and he gave it to me, but I never got back. I never got to the book when I should have at the time, so I ended up giving it back to him. But he told me this. He's like, yo, he's an artiste, man. There's a That's my name, by the way. He says there's a chapter in the book when the general talks about, or the commander, he talks about how he saw UFOs that could go with beneath the water without making a single splash. And they ended up cutting off his leg because he wanted to tell the story. And he was just getting death threats and all types of shit. But yeah, the book is called The Pale White Horse. And I thought that was interesting because not
It's actually called Behold the Pale
behold the
Horse.
pale horse. Okay, thank you. So it's kind of interesting though because that aligns with not only the vision that Saul was talking about, but also in another audio book. It's called FFF Hams, like FFFHAMS, or yeah, MS. It talks about how the white horse, comes across, you know, very prevalent in the first few chapters, and that book is 10 out of 10. I recommend that heavily because it'll definitely take you guys in the right direction.
If y'all are interested also in some more literature, I haven't read that one, but I've heard what you're talking about. I got this real cool book for free back in the spring of 2018. And it's called Star Woman. We are made from stars, and to the stars we must return. It's by Lynn V. Andrews. And this lady got initiated in these magical society. This is based on a true story. And in it, it says, um, to further her quest for ancient knowledge and to serve as the bridge between two worlds, the primal mind and the white consciousness, in Star Woman, her journey will be guided by Arian, a magnificent white stallion. She will ride into a world of illuminating visions, where she enters the most frightening and difficult place of all, the dark side of her own spirit. So it sounds like y'all might be interested in this kind of stuff too. So it's called Star Woman by Lynn Andrews.
You know what's crazy? I have that book. I'm not even gonna lie right now. I stole it from the library, and it's actually at my old address. Now I live in Florida, but I never got to read it. There was another book too that I got with it. I'm not gonna tell y'all what I did for that book. Anyway,
Yeah, she's got multiple books too.
yeah. It was called Crystal Woman, and then they had another book. It was like something about like light language and like all that type of stuff. She talks about in there like Lumeria
Yeah.
and like the crystal
Yeah, you know.
and shit. Hell yeah, I know about all that. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I
that
got
type
that
of
other
stuff.
book you just said too.
Yeah. It would have like a horse on it, like yeah. I just flipping
Yeah.
through her images and like paintings that she has in there. Those are like light codes. So like if you ever seen or picked up those type of books where it's like the imagery made by the artist, it like gives you downloads. Like I would just flip through her images that she had in there, and I would just immediately know shit. I'd be like, oh shit, like that dream, that vision, that mindset that I'd be having, that's where it all come from, and it all made sense. I didn't even have to read the book, just flip through the images and like, read it like a Bible. Read it like flip through a random page and then it makes sense. Boom.
Well, yeah, look at the hieroglyphics. They're written in symbolism and it, like all throughout the entire fucking 100 miles. Uh, everything, since the topic is high frequency, everything is vibrating at a high frequency, and we can't see it. Everything has an atom structure to it, and the reason why it's solid is because we're in the physical realm, but symbols, colors, sounds, numbers, they all have energies that emit, and we are 70% water. So depending on what we're around, and when you see symbols like that, they can alter the structure of your physical body and mind, and give you more light, which is a code no different from information. It's just more information.
That's facts.
Yeah, you had something you wanted to say?
Yo, Taken, what's good? I see you.
What up, man?
I noticed you have 330 followers. I'm digging the 33 right there. Nice synchronicity.
Thank you. I didn't peep it. Yeah.
Now, I was just gonna say, Wise Me is like you touched on something with symbology, and for anybody who doesn't have, for anybody who hasn't studied art history, I highly recommend it. I think like art history is kind of the portal into making the sense of the world in many ways, right? And when you talk about symbols, symbols. The fantastic thing about symbols is they hold so many meanings and layers to them, and depending on who is initiated to that frequency of the symbol, it's always going to kind of mean something a little bit different to everybody else, right? And you kind of touched on getting downloads through those symbols, and I think that's really what interpretation is, right? Like when you see something and you interpret it and you feel a certain way towards it and you have energy kind of associated with it, that is a download, right? I think people try to make it a little bit more in most cases, but symbols just hold so much weight and power throughout history, and I think it's really important for people to kind of understand the layers of the symbology. So I highly recommend people kind of looking into art history and kind of getting a frame of reference, in order to describe those things. I also popped in a quick link in the comments section for anybody who hasn't read the Book of Wisdom. I highly recommend it. Of course, you use discernment, but a lot of the topics that everybody seems to be talking about in spaces over and over again, it's very, very cleanly outlined in that 120-page book. I kind of joke, like, if I had that book 20, 30 years ago, like when I was young, it would have like blown my mind, instead of having to spend all the hours and hours and hours that I have, searching the internet and libraries and old books and everything else to accumulate that amount of knowledge. But regardless of like the knowledge that we're dropping and all of the great resources that we share, ultimately it's not really important unless you're able to kind of shift and gain something from it in terms of feeling and navigating this experience that we're actively having on. So, I share that book, but at the same time, if it doesn't resonate, just feel free to let it be and shift where you need to shift.
Yeah. That book is amazing, man. It's very clearly communicated, even on the little TikToks that they be posting and shit. But goddamn, bro, it makes you think like where has that man been for the last 5 years or decade? The 2020 pandemic was what I believe was the start of a lot of people's ascension. It was the conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter, and I guess that happens once every 30 years, something like that. And it happened on December 21st. And I just remember within my personal journey, that was when I decided to go vegan for about 9 months. I was celibate for a while as well. Meditated heavy, got really back into nature's, pleasures, sunlight, being around the trees, the plants. Oh, and also plant medicine for those who have heard anything negative about it. My personal experience with that has literally changed my entire avatar. Plant medicine, magic mushrooms at a reasonable rate. I'm not a doctor, but hey, I'll tell you straight up, microdosing is good for anyone. I don't see any way how that could be any harm to any person that is on this planet. It literally not only eats the bacteria within the mind, body, and soul, but it gives you the clarity to really self-reflect and think about what you're doing at the moment and how you can get to that next level. Because there's no reason to stay comfortable for too long. That doesn't really give the results that we actually desire. You got to go through a little bit of uncomfort to understand that life is
I love that.
yeah,
Dude, I absolutely love that. I'm sorry to interject really quick. One of the best counselors I ever had, that was the very first thing he ever opened up with was, I'm going to get you real comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I love that because you can't grow unless you get the F out of your comfort zone, So, and I agree. I microdose pretty regularly. And it's awesome. Like it literally just makes you happy. You smile, you laugh, you see some slightly more vivid colors. There's really no harm in it. You don't go cuckoo. Like microdosing is a whole another thing. It's not like tripping face where you eat, you know, a whole eighth or a quarter of mushrooms and have to take 2 days off work, you know? So if you were done, more wisdom, I was going to go ahead and get to Lightning's hand if he's still there because he was going to say something earlier and then we kind of got all new topics and everything.
Yeah,
So,
no problem. Let Lightning go. Let Lightning go.
okay.
Let's see what he has to
All right.
say.
Real quick, Soul. Real
Yeah,
quick,
what's
sorry, I
up?
just want to hop in. No, I just want to say, like, I try not to speak in absolutes. It's really difficult, though. I think, like, what you say, it should be for everybody. Like, you know, at a given time, right? Like when they're ready for that journey. I think that's really important to kind of just put an asterisk out there because, you know, not everybody is emotionally ready for certain things, you know, or it's not their time and it's not, they'll know when it's their time, you know? So I try not to give advice like that. I just want to throw that asterisk out there for the group.
Oh no, for sure. And thanks, Enochian. I should preface like everything that I say is just from my own personal experience. You know, I'm not claiming to be a doctor or anything like that. I'm not saying go out and do these things. I'm just saying what has happened when I have gone out and done these things or stayed in and done these things. And so I'm just sharing my experience and I agree. I think you have to be very, very mindful of your state of mind and your circumstances and your environment. Seriously, even though it's just microdosing, I make sure that, you know, I don't have anything coming up. I don't have plans to drive anywhere or go anywhere, do anything. Yeah. So just be mindful and be smart and be intelligent. Because yeah, it is not one size fits all. So absolutely, just follow your own intuition, and yeah, whenever you're ready, I think you'll know. We there was something that like just like this that came up in a space. A gentleman was wanting to explore this very thing and he ended up bumping into somebody, a random stranger, that gave him a little free sample. So he's like, yes, I'm gonna go take a weekend when I've got it off. And he's not inexperienced, he's done it before, but he wanted to do it in the more spiritual and introverted way, not just get a bunch of friends together and do, psychedelics. He wanted to go at it from like the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the psychedelic experience, have his own individual spiritual psychedelic experience. So, and it's funny, I read that book in high school, but yeah. Okay, Lightning, are you there, my friend?
I
No?
am
Yeah.
indeed. I am indeed
Yay!
here. I was
All right.
listening with love and glee to you guys. Just working out, like you were talking about. That we really gotta like be physical. We gotta use that energy. I believe in working out very strongly. I like to work out like I'm in prison 3 times a day, 6 times a week. It's a beautiful thing. Being physical really allows you to exercise all those demons. And so let me just see if I can remember everything I was going to respond to here. So, Enochian, Mo Wisdom, I definitely am in agreement with what you guys are saying about mushrooms. I would just put one disclaimer on there. If you are someone who has suffered from schizophrenia or has a history or a family history of schizophrenia, I would just encourage you to be easy with it or perhaps skip it. Not everyone needs to. I mean, I love the mushrooms. Believe me, I love the mushrooms. I've had some amazing experiences on them. My favorite ones are when you take a heroic dose, 5 grams or more, and you leave the body. You exit the construct. which is something that can definitely happen if you take enough mushrooms, which I would recommend always doing a heroic dose, always doing 5 grams or more. That's, although a low amount can be good, but 5 grams, a heroic dose, will give you an experience that will really move your spiritual practice forward. And I don't believe in bad trips. I don't believe in bad trips at all. There's no such thing as a bad trip. If you have an experience where you think you're going to die, where you are dying in your mind, this is so valuable because we live in a world that's so safe. You can't have a near-death experience when you walk down the street every day.
That's why we need more schizophrenics.
What's
That's
that?
exactly why we need more schizophrenics.
Yes.
It's
What
too safe
movement
here.
is this? Who
We should
started this
encourage
movement? Who's the
schizophrenia
head of this movement?
instead of shaming them. They need to take the
Exactly.
largest amount of mushrooms.
Schizophrenia is not a disease, it's a superpower. So if you have schizophrenia, do not think you have an illness. You do not have an illness. You are a superhero. Your mind is just buzzing.
It's a made up name that somebody
Exactly.
came up with to control other
Wait,
people.
so
It's all
schizophrenia-
just word magic. People are just making up this stuff so people
Yes.
will actually manifest that shit in their lives.
It's called narcissistic abuse. You're totally right, Queen. It's narcissistic abuse when they use this DSM-IV. It's spell casting. It's black magic that they put a name on you and then they manifest those illnesses by telling you that you have them.
Listen, I'm gonna have to jump in here respectfully.
So you
and-
telling me
and just disagree.
schizophrenia is a
Oh no,
spiritual
do it
side effect?
disrespectfully. I'm here for the disrespect,
Spiritual
dude.
side effect.
Hey, let's go to war right now. Fuck the high
I just-
frequency.
I
Let's
just
take it to
don't
another
think-
level.
I just don't think it does any service to speak in such absolutes. There's gray areas to everything, and to say that it's black magic and all this stuff, I think it's
Well, they
it's
can
just
call it
not-
schizophrenia, and we can call it black magic. How about
Who's
that?
they? Who's they? Who's
Hey,
they?
anybody
I'm-
that
I'm-
wants to use
I'm
that
trying to
terminology
bring-
is who they are.
I'm trying to
Anybody that
bring- I'm
wants to
trying-
use those
I'm-
slangs
Excuse me.
and
I'm
that hate
speaking. I'm
speech,
trying
all
to
that
bring-
hate speech can
There's
be
no hate
directed
speech.
at you, sir.
There's no hate speech in
Calling
terminology.
people
of a disorder.
schizophrenics is a new term of hate speech, and it's there to
Totally.
demoralize and
It's not a hate speech,
humiliate
it's a medical
people.
You're
definition.
not wrong. Hold on. I know what Anaki is trying to say. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Schizophrenic to me is a term when you're about to laugh at somebody. It's like it's a bullying term. You're not wrong for sure.
I just wanted to speak. My boyfriend, he was bipolar type 2 with schizotypal tendencies. He is no longer with us. He passed away. But I agree that people who are schizophrenic do have a superpower. They hear and they see things that most people are completely unaware of. But like Enochian said, there are gray areas. I said it at the beginning of the space. There's no one size fits all. You know, anyway, I don't think she's here anymore, so it's fine. But I actually, Revolution is up here, and he is a really, really great reference when it comes to sitting with herbal medicines and doing it in a respectable way. It's more of a ceremony. And so, Mo Wisdom, if you're cool, I wanted to maybe let Revolution up to share because he's got his hand up and it's relevant to the topic. And but I mean, you did have your hand up first, so as long as it's okay with you, is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's
All
do the
right.
revolution.
All right. Rev, you there, my friend?
Absolutely. Thanks, Solor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know me. Oh man, I love this topic so much. So for your listeners, here's what I'll say about the psychedelics and the plant medicines. I mean, one of the most phenomenal avenues of healing and exponential growth and expansion and access to your consciousness and to your higher self and to physical, 3D gifts. It's so amazing. And so I've been to Peru twice in the jungles, Amazon, and done ayahuasca 10 times. A good friend of mine is Mark Howard, who's an iboga practitioner and did the documentary Dosed. I'm a practitioner with magic mushrooms, DMT, the yellow cake method with the Monroe Institute crossover. Thousands of people I've sat with and done the heavy doses, right? Heavy doses. And I'm talking about doing like a 3-day fast, waking up in the morning and eating an ounce of mushrooms all at once, not like a gram an hour, but, an entire 28 grams for breakfast with nothing in your system for 3 days. And the ego deaths and stuff that I've had in these journeys, Lightning is right. It's such a phenomenal and so scary, right? I mean, you do have to kind of start slow and prepare your mind and, have a babysitter and all of those things, all of these, disclaimers that people gave you are right. But if you really want to truly reach those next levels, I mean, there is nothing out there that can compare to it. And, it's funny because I see so many people in the spiritual communities telling people not to do this. And they're just like, you don't need to do that. And well, I can kind of agree with them. I mean, I see they've never been through an ego death and they still operate from a place of external validation and all of these things. They're not true. They haven't truly done the work. I mean, like Soul was saying, you have to get uncomfortable. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And once you've seen the depths of that darkness, I mean, if you could spend 3 hours in hell, right? Let's just say 3 hours, those 3 hours that you're peaking, how much would you appreciate this world and your ability to participate in it, right? 3 hours. And that would allow you to put forward 10 times the effort into the rest of your life for the rest of your life. How exponential is that? Think about that, right? And so for the true psychonaut practitioners out there like myself, I mean, we are seeking those, those negative trips, what people would call I had a bad trip. That's not a bad trip, bro. That's the best gift you could ever be given, that ego death, that release of everything that no longer serves you to achieve these next levels of expansiousness. And so also I'd like to say these degenerative brain diseases, psilocybin, peyote, they all create new neural pathways in your brain. So what they're doing is literally activating your DNA codes and structures inside of you so that you can, be closer to your higher self as a part of ascension. It's literally a speeding up your ascension process. And now this is factual. MIT studied this. It regenerates damaged brain cells and connects new neural pathways. And that one dose can lead to like 6 weeks of treatment for somebody with Parkinson's or multiple sclerosis. Their brain literally rejuvenates anywhere from 1 to 5 years. Like it's absolutely insane. And that people that, PTSD victims coming back from war that have, seen babies turned into powdered mist on a wall beside them, and never had a chance at functioning in life after, 2 or 3 sessions are just putting it all behind them and moving forward, not only moving forward, but spending their lives in a spiritual aspect dedicated to helping others, right? This is this common goal. It seems like everybody that has this ego death goes out into the world and wants to help. Just want to help, right? That's 99.9% of people that go through the psychedelic experience. So, I mean, there's so much to talk about, but I did want to say those things from, myself that has practiced in the heavy doses, the macro dosing. I do love the micro dosing as well for people to help them. But if you truly want that transformative experience, the macro dose is where it's at for sure. I'll land it there, but if anybody has questions, I can speak to it.
You mind if I jump in real quick?
Go ahead, Mo.
All right, cool. So, I want to just kind of elaborate on the. I agree with the not speaking in absolutes factor, but sometimes there's a difference between someone who thinks that they know something and someone that knows that they know something. So, when someone has confidence, they are sure, and they're willing to stand behind their word with integrity, honor, and morality, I don't think we should ever take that away from them. You may disagree or agree to disagree. However, we need more leaders in this world. We don't need just the idea of, well, it could be this or that. No, we need someone that actually knows what the fuck they're talking about and where to go, because those are the people that make this world a better place. They give others more confidence to step up and say, hey, I want to be a leader as well. It's important. So I did my first little bigger dosage of mushrooms and whatnot was from the age 26 to 27. And for those who do study metaphysics at all, understand that well, once you get there, if you haven't been there, the age 27 is a very spiritual age. You go through a lot of ascension. The 2 + 7 adds up to 9. And I know that might be a little bit foreign to some people, but just take my words. 27 was a very impactful year for myself. And on that day, I actually did it in nature on my birthday, the exact day. And I had treated this larger amount of mushrooms as if it was a microdose because I had been getting in the routine of one day on, one day off, microdose with water, only in my stomach, just one glass of water. That's what my seafood told me to do. And I unconsciously took a lot more mushrooms, and then just only had water. And before I knew it, I started meditating out in nature. And I'm talking about like within the forest, there's a waterfall that's not too far from where I'm at the time too. So it was perfect. But I kid you not, within the diet change and all the changes and turning the bad habits into good habits, the mushrooms kicked in extremely quick. I kid you not, within 15 minutes, I seen my hands turning purple. And, before I knew it, I'm thinking like, yo, this is what I signed up for. I made the conscious decision to eat that. So, you got to ride with it. So I put my lo-fi music in and I'm going down the hill to continue along the path. And I'll be honest, I was very nervous. I was at a state of fear, even at that. But as soon as I got to the bottom of the hill and made that right turn towards the waterfall, all of the fear that was in my body left. Every single ounce of fear had left. And I understood life from a new perspective. It told me that everything that you want in life is literally on the other side of fear. I had no understanding of the appreciation of what it felt to actually appreciate the simple things, just the wind blowing in nature, in the trees and the plants. Because the thing is, when you are under a certain level of plant medicine, you understand that the plants are communicating to you. You might think you're by yourself when you're in nature, but no, the plants are literally vibrating and emitting messages and information to you when you are able to receive it at that level. Your energy doesn't always start off powerful or at a high level. So once you start to induce yourself with these ancestral shamanic plants, they give you information that you wouldn't be able to comprehend unless you were just naturally tapped in, or like let's say you had a grandma that was just putting you on game since the age of 5 or something like that. But women I see typically are more connected to the spiritual essence of life. But when a man can get there, it's a beautiful thing as well. The divine masculinity is just as beautiful as divine femininity. But not to be too long-winded, what I experienced on that day from 26 to 27 was amazing. Best day of my life. And the best way I could put it is my consciousness literally became one energetic entity and split into two. And it was beautiful because it was myself, and I seen the ancestor form of myself and the childlike form of myself walking side by side, literally and having a conversation with myself. But it seemed like it could have been myself, but realistically, it's just like, we all are one. But my ancestors had given me so much information while under the influence of plant medicine. And what they told me was, they said, look, Ortiz, we're giving you this divine masculinity. So when you walk with your chest up, and we chose you to do this shit. So we knew you'd be strong enough to do it. And the childlike version of myself was looking up at the ancestor version, like, damn, do you think I can actually do it? You think I'm strong enough? And before I knew it, I'm looking at the ancestor, and the ancestor has like a smirk, and he's not even really giving me like a full eye contact, but here's a smirk. He's like, yeah, man, like we know who you are. You're supposed to do this. And it seems crazy, but man, I kid you not. This is what I received while on the plant medicine, and it was a beautiful experience. I just want to encourage those who do want to live a life at its best capacity to do what you're safe with. You know, don't listen to everyone else's experiences. You got to find out what works for you at the end of the day. And lastly, I'll say this with a question, because I had this opportunity. If you had the ability or the option to take $10,000 at this very moment, or take a phone call with someone that can answer every single question that you have about your path and spirituality, which one would you take? And by the grace of the Matrix and the Most High, I was able to talk to someone that had been studying metaphysics for 50 plus years. 50 plus years. And I kid you not, at this time, before I was asking all the questions, I was pretty heavy into Kabbalic mysticism and like the Hebrew information, and just diving in and trying to figure out what it is that they know that I could learn. And he answered all of my questions. Like, he accelerated my wisdom to years ahead just because he had already went through the path and given me the the privilege to even have a conversation like that. So yeah, I wanna just capitalize on that. Like, think about it. Is money really the main thing? Or would you want some more wisdom from someone that is kicking your cup of tea? And I'll end there.
Thanks, Mo. Great share for real. I'm loving the wisdom from everybody. Or did you want to jump in really quick on something, or are you waving by?
Just
Oh,
waving.
okay. Just waving. We're out here making waves. I love it. Um, we're all excellent surfers for sure. Okay, so I saw
Posted my video about why I tell my little anecdote of the time I did 30 G's of dried psilocybes. So I would not recommend, but 10 out of 10 would do again.
that's hilarious. Hi, Emma. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm well. I do apologize for that interruption with the laugh, but I'm loving the combo, so I'm just going to pipe down and listen in.
Oh, no problem. If you want to contribute, I think Nokian had a hand. They all disappeared on me, so I'm not sure if there are any hands.
Hey, how's it going? I
Hey.
just want to I want to apologize for stepping in there, you know, during that share before, but you know, given what I do every day and kind of how long I've been operating within the structure to make meaningful change, I can't consciously sit by idle when people are throwing out really kind of nasty terms like hate speech and stuff like that. So apologies for jumping into the space like that, Soul. But one of those things where, you know, I think I speak from a place of authority on it, and I felt that it was just right to step in at that moment. So I just want to preface with that. Wisdom, really enjoyed that share, by the way. And I think a really cool thing about this space and kind of what we're doing right here is, you know, we don't have to make that choice. Like, we can get that information for basically free. And I don't think there's been another opportunity.
What happened? Who did that?
It's probably just an accident by Wise Muse muting everyone.
No, it wasn't. 'Cause I did
Oh,
that.
sorry.
It's a really fantastic opportunity, to build community, but to also kind of hear people's perspectives and be able to, you know, be shared wisdom that normally you wouldn't find without, you know, truly searching for it. And I think, you know, to your point about studying some of the more occult and mystic arts, it's really hard to find solid authority in that arena. I mean, even in a lot of the YouTube videos that are out there and stuff, everybody's kind of approaching it from a different framework. And even if you go directly to some of the source texts from the earlier, you know, late 1800s, early 1900s, with the Order of the Golden Dawn and so forth, as they're kind of compiling some of the older Freemasonic as well as Rosicrucian information. It's going to be tricky to just read those 1,000-page books and truly be initiated without a solid mentor or somebody that has learned from energies in the past, right? It's one thing to kind of read, it's another thing and gain the knowledge. It's another thing to actually be imbued with that wisdom and to understand. So I think it's such an awesome experience that you've had the opportunity to have a mentor and to speak with somebody that could kind of share that 50 plus years of wisdom. So that's a really, beautiful thing. And I think a lot of people on here are searching for that level of connection and that level of wisdom, and they make bite-sized doses here on Spaces, which is great. And I'll kind of land with always, regardless of who you're hearing it from, use that discernment, right? I think that's really important.
Yeah, man. I've had a couple mentors and I paid for it. It was worth it. If you really want to find out, there's nothing wrong with going through someone that has already went through the steps that you're interested in, right? Like if they can give you something that's going to make it more of a valuable life, just day-to-day living. Because, man, I kid you not, it wasn't, and I mean this when I say this, astrology wasn't like, I didn't go to astrology. Astrology came to me. And then within that, I started to understand that there's way more of a ordained order that's going on than we may understand. Um, you know, so there's different levels of it. There's numerology. There's the Vedic astrology, Western astrology. There's Chinese astrology. But one thing I can say that they all have is elemental geometry. And when you can talk to someone that is a master of that, they understand life at a completely different level. At a completely different level. And those are the people that can really be a danger to the matrix. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's very important for people to know themselves, because when you understand yourself, that means that you have more room and more patience to love others. Because instead of questioning why is this person like this, you know why. Because you understand what their metaphysical makeup is. It's within their geometry. It's all physics. You can't blame them for the energy that emits from them. This is how they were born. You could literally see this throughout so many different types of people. Those who are born within the year of 1995, they may not always look the same, but with energetically how they emit and walk and talk and carry themselves, they're damn near like the same tribe. And it goes on and on and on, and you can just see case after case after case. Like, wow, um, there's always going to be those who have certain abilities, and once you know what your abilities are and how to control your vibration, because you have to control it. You can't just you can allow it to emit, but once you learn how to control it, that's when you get that business deal effortlessly. That's when you get the opposite gender's attention effortlessly. That's when life just starts to work in your favor effortlessly, because you're at the right time at the right place doing the right thing. You can't always be trying to shoot from the 3-point line. Sometimes you got to play defense. You got to know when to sit back and actually rest versus just trying to be offensive and aggressive. And aggressiveness doesn't always work for some people, especially like, I'm not gonna sit here and say let's take it day in, day out. Like you have to eat, sleep, breathe this shit. But no, it's like a class. Once you pass the class, you have the knowledge. And whether you want to keep the knowledge is up to you. So I think it's very important.
You touched on something there that I think it's kind of interesting to ponder on. So you had mentioned that those people that are tapped in, right, or maybe know how to work with the elementals and understand their life path and have that, not only that knowledge but that wisdom to actually act and find balance on it, are a danger to the matrix. And I kind of have an interesting perspective on it. I almost feel like they're not a danger to the Matrix. They're right where they need to be in the Matrix. You know, they're a part of the grand plan. They're a part of that grand design and that grand, you know, material system. And no matter kind of what they throw at the Matrix will restructure itself. You know, so it's kind of that duality principle where I don't think there's any like quote unquote hacks or shortcuts in that way. I think they may have mastered certain energies and frameworks in order to kind of navigate the Matrix in a different way. But I don't think they're an inherent, you know, an inherent risk or like anything like that to the actual Matrix itself, because I think the structure is always going to continue to replicate and restructure itself depending on which energies are pushing and pulling at that time. It will find a way to balance itself out, much like we're trying to do for ourselves, if that makes sense.
Definitely, but I'm just listen to this really quick, Reg. So you know, down here in the physical realm, we got something called the IRS, and they control the taxes. You right? It's like, wait, hold on, why do we have to pay taxes? Okay, would you believe me if I told you that there was a spiritual IRS that's trying to harvest your energy every second of the day? And literally, if you don't get in control of your spiritual wealth, your spiritual abundance, then that means that something else is getting it. That's why they call people sometimes energy vampires and things of that nature. You have to understand that you are in
Loot
control.
harvesting.
Yes, exactly. But I'll land right here with this. What I believe the Matrix is what the movie in 2011, In Time, with Justin Timberlake. That movie is my favorite movie. I think that's the best movie you can ever watch in the 21st century. It's the fucking number one movie. I love that movie. That's what the Matrix is. And literally what we're doing day by day is gambling for more time. You either control your time or let someone else control your time. If you want to take the next 2 years off, and you could, and you financially would be perfectly fine, would you? Or would you find something to do that is aligned with your purpose to where you would do it whether I make money or whether you make money or not? You know? I'll end there.
Well,
I agree with that. I think another point too is I think people are really kind of down and out on the structure and down and out on the Matrix itself. I think people fail to like appreciate the beauty that is said Matrix, that is said structure. As dark as it may feel sometimes, as like Lucian energy harvesting as it may feel sometimes, I think there's pieces there within the structure and within that duality that we not only have to honor and respect, but I think we should celebrate it and lean into it even further. You know,
absolutely.
That may be a little bit. Yeah, people may disagree with that perspective, but I think that really is kind of that balancing and that practical piece here, because we're all here together for a reason. We're all here experiencing for a reason, and I think we have to lean into that sometimes, right?
I would say this, and to get in with you guys, good stuff. You know, I just want to say, hey, Seattle, I'm gonna strangle you when I see you, Seattle. That's my guy. I love Seattle. Real fast, let's play words. Now, you guys are right there, man. Think of the Matrix. It's a hub system, right? Think of that system. Within that system, you have workers. So the sorcerers of the Mantronics, think of that word, Matriots, Mantron. So the Mantrion and the Matriarch, it's a system. So if you figure out, oh, we're in the Matrix, we'll get up out the Mantronics. So if you got your Mantar, and your Tronics, and your Tron, you know, have to get the tronics. What are the electronics? What are the tronics? The tronics in your body are the things that's activate, like someone's door's open. Stop laughing, wise. You know we get it all the time.
I covered the door.
I know.
Love it, Reg. I love it. You're speaking my tune, man.
There it goes. But watch this. So stay with me. So within the Mantrion, the matriarchs, the matriarch, because when you marry a woman, it's holy matriarch, holy matrion. So the mattress you lay on to have sex, the matriarch. So you got to play with that. It's the hub system. Just like
the material.
Absolutely, brother. And just like this one, I'll give you this one. Same with the campus. When you go to school, you are on a campus. So the hippocampus that's in your brain is this the mandula. You got to activate that, the mantron, the mandula. So the hippo and the mandilar and the mandolin is the thing that the Thor holds. That's the mandilar. That's the backbone of the column. So when the Thor holds that hammer, that's that mandar. So when you got that hippocampus going on in your brain, the campus of a school is the meeting of school of thoughts. So they play with these words while we go camping, work with a compass, campus. So just those little things is how you get out of the matriarch and find your will, and you'll understand the sorcerers that's in the corporation. They're gonna come. Who is Reggie doing in Florida? You know. So you got to understand that it's a corporation, and you got to figure out how to take down the corporation or make the corporation money or destroy the corporation and start your own system, which is called, you know, it's all electronics. It's like electronics. So if I got a mantronic system, an electronic system, a Voltron system, there's trons. I'll land.
All
I don't
right.
even know what I said. I swear to God, I don't know what I
No, you
said.
good. You
I
good.
made it up. I know I made it up. Seattle stole my playbook and he put a gun in my head and told me to come up here and
No, it's
say
all
this.
good.
I land.
Hey, I'm gonna get Seattle back. Don't worry. But
I love the Reg. I love that. I really appreciate that piece there. I posted the Book
Amen.
of Wisdom down there in the comments section. A lot of what you're saying is in there as well. So if you have you probably already
Amen.
know this stuff. You're wise beyond your years.
Because think about it, Nosh, and to hit it, because when I went to the Pacific Ocean the other day, and I said, let me let these wavelengths talk to me. Everybody's talking on space. Talk, talk, talk. I am Jack. Fuck off. He. So when I went to the waves, all the waves said was, whoosh. I said, look at this guy. This guy's talking to me. I said, these guys are talking. Listen, Reg. So when the other wave came up, so once I finished, I had to hit the PCH carway. Get out of the way. Bomb, fuck off. And door slam, coffee. Welcome to Power 106 on the radio station. See all that fucking total chaos, a ball of confuse. When you blow a fuse, so they're born confusion. Confucius, what did Confucian say? He said, you're fusions. The Matrix.
so really quick, I I forget who was talking. I can't see who was speaking before you, Reg. He was giving the details behind what the definition of the Matrix is to him. Can you tell me who that was? Was that Revolution or? I'm not quite sure.
Don't look at me.
All right. Well, I'll just continue. I don't think one thing that the master told me when I talked to him was he said, "Look, man, you came down here to know what it's like to be high on weed, to fall in love, to create, to have free will. Like you came down here willingly because this is what you wanted this time, and the way that things are going is kind of like how karma played a part, and then also, you gotta. It's like it's your own video game. You play it at your own will, and you make the best out of what you can. So I don't believe that the Matrix is necessarily a bad thing. It's a test overall, and our purpose is to transcend the Matrix, which means make things work at your will. Just like how Reg was saying about how you can destroy it or you can control it. You can allow something or the Matrix to control you. Overall, the most fun that I found within the Matrix was transcending it. Saying, all right, yeah, taxis exist. I guess I got to make more money. All right, it seems like there's a lot of perversion going on in 2025. There's a lot of lack of morality. What seems like you got to have better morals. There's a lot of unhealthy food out here in the day-to-day living. Well, seems like you got to hit the gym a little bit more. Like fuck the excuses, fuck the negatives. Find the light within the darkness, because sometimes you don't even appreciate how bright the light can shine until you get to the darkness. And then shit, once you understand that, you go back to the darkness and help others get out of the darkness. What I do for an occupation is I'm a street promoter, like a street club promoter. They pay me $1 per guy, $3 per girl that I bring into my venue. It's a rooftop here in Southern California. And I willingly use my elemental geometry that I've studied in the physical realm. And what I mean by that is I know what abilities that I have, and one of them is the ability to talk to people as if I've known them. So I use that shit to my advantage, and I get paid to do it. It didn't just happen out of nowhere. It happened after I aligned myself mentally, physically, mentally, and spiritually, and then things just started flowing in effortlessly. It's like, you get a text like, "Hey, we want to see if you would like this job offer. Like, can you be here tomorrow at 3 p.m.?" It's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, how did that happen? But the Most High and these energies and who you decide to be is all up to you pretty much. So you got free will. I just want to see people get empowered with this information and then go out in life and kill it, man. Like, come on. There's so many people out here that have the potential to be great at a high level and take it even further. And, my favorite example is Michael Jackson. That motherfucker is Himothy. You mean to tell me he's elevating off of a fucking stage with his hands crossed and he got 6 foot man and women fainting at the presence of him being there? That's aura. But it's further than that. It's elemental geometry. And for some reason, he understood it. He may have not been a student of metaphysics, but whatever he was at the right place and at the right time. And I'll end there.
See, Light's got his hand up. Emma's got her hand up. I can't hear anybody, by the way.
Nah, I can hear you.
Or do you want to speak?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm just kind of listening. Somebody said something earlier along the lines of being some sort of authority, and I thoroughly disagree. I think we're all larvae in this atmosphere of knowledge, and maybe if I can offer from my personal thing, and I don't even care if you integrate this, it's just helped me be a little bit more at ease with the chaos and cacophony of other people's thoughts and words and ideals and opinions and interpretations, et cetera, et cetera. I keep all the buzz and the chatter in the foyer of my mind, and it's just there, and I can integrate it as I please. I hear a lot of things that I disagree with, or I go, wow, this person doesn't know this, or this person knows a lot of this, or whatever, and it's just there. It's just info, and I don't feel the need to engage it, and it's actually a lot better for my growth to just hear it as it is. And it's wonderful if you take in the multifarious colors of God's subjective experiences, i.e., each and every single one of you and me. It gives you a more clear image of what's going on. So I try not to be at odds with anything, even if it sounds downright incorrect. And I don't really have anything else to say. It's nice to just ingest all of you. To me, it's just data. The whole framework is data. There's no scaffolding. There's no matrix. It's just stuff. And the more you try to limit it, the more you put terms and labels on the Tao. And the Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao.
Well, at least we're actively providing a good set of training data for said Grok.
Some of my truths that I have espoused have led people to near insanity. So I am careful with what I throw up and vomit into the ether.
Well,
That's
that's perfectly okay though, man. Sometimes we all have our respective positions. We can't all be in the same position. It's a team. Life is about teamwork. Go ahead, Lightning.
Agreed. Some of us have to
I
make people go insane.
absolutely. I'm in total agreement with you guys that I feel like I know nothing. And whatever's presented to me, I take it, whether I agree with it or I disagree with it. I don't see any of you as separate from me. I don't see the so called they as separate from me. See, this was a big part of my evolution, because a big part of getting me to this point was this idea of they and the conspiracy against us. And this is a disservice to myself when I see them as separate. There is no them, there is no they, there's just us and this beautiful garden world, this lovely school, this experiment in consciousness. And I am so grateful for the opportunity to help resolve the separation between us and ourself. And a big part of fixing everything, you guys were speaking about how 2020 was like that caused a lot of people to wake up. That caused me to wake up. I'm a young guy. I'm 37. 2020, that was 5 years ago. I was 32. I was not even close to the place that I am now. And so I really trust in divine timing. I trust in source. I do not believe that anything that's happening is not for our own best interest. We are the ones controlling this. The unconscious mind is the one who is operating as the authority. That's my personal view, that if you want to think about who's controlling everything, who are these they, this group of conspirators? The they, it's just our unconscious mind. It's just the oversoul of man. We're not going to single out these people who are us for some kind of exile or blacklisting or punishment. We're going to integrate all of this knowledge into our experience as human beings. The revolution isn't the people standing up and using the same psychotic 3D means that the so-called controllers used against us. The revolution is that we're in love from now on. We're in love with ourselves. We're in love with humanity. We're in love with each other. Human beings are now in love. That is the revolution. That we are going to love ourselves. We're going to love one another. We're not going to stand up and have some psychotic 3D revolution where we descend on wealthy people with pitchforks. Not at all. Not at all. Brothers and sisters, we are going to heal the separation. We're ending this. Everyone's going to be taken care of. AI is going to take care of everything. No one's going to have to work. No one's going to be homeless. No one's going to be hungry. And the people who were responsible for this conspiracy, they are going to stand down. They're going to help us make this new world because they don't want to live in that old world either. So my brothers and sisters, this is the brand new world, the world of love, the 5D earth, Sheem, the alien earth. We're here. Soul family, it's finally here. Love you guys.
Hey, I love you too, brother. And I just want to give my personal perspective on this one. Love is definitely a big factor, but man, I think it's important to understand what spiritual warfare actually is. Sometimes you gotta understand there's some people that are trying to send some spiritual drone strikes at you. And if you don't know how to
100%.
if you don't know how to defend yourself, then that leaves you at a disadvantage. And let's be real. Our factory setting is love. It's light. We choose light over darkness. But guess what? light can't always stop the darkness. Sometimes you gotta know how to use darkness to defend yourself, and it's not coming from an unjustful place. This is something I learned from Brother Panic. Because I used to think, man, is it all right to hate? I just don't even really fucking like that word. Like, that word is just, it's disgusting if you think about it. But guess what? It's okay to hate unjustful things. It's okay to hate crimes and murder and rape and pillaging. You don't fucking do that type of stuff. So, yes, I hate the negative things that put people through pain, misery, and hurt. And it's that same darkness, that hate, that gives me the fuel to fight against it. These days,
But you hate the darkness out of love. You hate the darkness out of love, not out of hate.
no,
You want to end the darkness out of love for everyone, no?
right. Maybe I didn't use the right words. I don't hate the darkness. I hate the person behind the darkness that chose to use the darkness like that. Because darkness,
But if you could save everyone and save them, would you rather save them and everyone or punish them and not save everyone?
oh, I would definitely choose the first option. But, I and many others understand that there's laws, universal laws
Absolutely.
that are in place. That's the beauty of life. I do believe that the Most High does not interfere. Karma is what it is, and that is a beautiful thing because you have the option to sow as you reap, to treat others how you would like to be treated, to literally be a part of cause and effect. That what goes around comes around. You're gonna go around hurting people until you learn your lesson. It could be lifetimes that you go through that lesson. But that's the beauty of being down here in this physical plane with mental and spiritual understanding, because you choose the karma that comes back to you, whether it's good or bad. And Revolution, I know you had your hand up. Wise moves too.
I'll just cut in if he's not going to speak that I am in total agreement with you. I am definitely not in disagreement. And I think that, so I want to bridge the gap in what we're saying because I don't think, I don't think we have a difference in position. I really, truly agree with you that it's not acceptable for these people to hurt children. It's not acceptable for them to poison us. The vaccine, a spiritual genocide, a spiritual concentration camp, which we're inside, and has to be dismantled. But what I'm saying is that us, the people that are really aware of what's going on, we shouldn't lie to ourselves and focus on we're going to punish these people and we're going to get them for what they've done and they're going to be punished. They will be punished. They will face justice under the law, legally and peacefully. No, I truly believe that. I truly
No,
believe that.
I get a flashback, and I just remember around the same time we got a Diddy trial, but 2 years ago around this time we had Amber Heard and bro, it be that time. It be that time.
Exactly. It is the time of revelations. It is the time of miracles and signs. You're seeing miracles. You're witnessing signs. This is the time. I know you all feel it, that you feel it in your bones. And the thing is, yes, those people are going to be punished. They are going to face trial and they are going to go to jail. And some of them will legally, peacefully, and under the law, murdering human beings. That's just the place where we're at in human evolution right now. But the thing that I really want to put out to you guys, that I'm not saying to excuse these people, that I'm not saying for us to get sidetracked by and not, hold them accountable for their crimes. I'm saying this for us because I love you guys, because I love them too, because if I hate them, and it's not I think this word hate, I think, you know, I just, I feel like when we're in this fear frequency, in this, when we hate, it's detrimental to us. And Enochian, I don't say that for us not to be in, to get justice. I just feel like it's not good for our souls, and that we could better get justice. We could better achieve this beautiful world if we remained in love out of selfish reasons. We don't want to let them drag us down into the fear frequencies that they're in. So if we can keep the love, if we can say we love them, even though they're criminals, even though they're abusers, even though they're psychopathic narcissists, if we can say we love them, we love all humanity. We love all humanity because we're humans and we want to be loved, and we're going to love freely because we want to be loved freely. And we're going to make them face justice, but for our own sake, for the sake of vibrating in the highest frequency, I just feel like it would be better for us to forgive them and say, we know that they are doing horrible things, but they are the victims of trauma. Like P. Diddy, he was used as a ritual altar, as a living ritual altar by his family at the age of 4. All of these people abusing people, they come from families with deep generational trauma. They have been being abused by their families for all of human history. You know, father abused son, then son abused his son, and it just continued. And part of the reason that these systems that are you know, that stand against us are so strong is because they function based on, you know, generational trauma. And, you know, a father brings his son into these organizations, into these secret societies. They traumatize the young individual, and then they become part of this system of pain. And so I just think, for our own sake, if we could just extract ourselves from any kind of fear, from any kind of loathing, that I really truly feel that literally any emotion that is negative, while possibly useful in the 3D world, is just so detrimentally in a 5D sense to our light body. And I'll end there. I really just want to, you know, end there and really emphasize the love. Love you guys.
I very much agree with a lot of what you're saying as well, and I personally feel like we give a lot of that fear way too much energy, way too much attention. You know, and even the word "they," I've always had a big problem with that word "they," because I feel like, to your point, people are not realizing the shadows that they craft, the egregores that they craft, right? And how much of they actually is them, you know, in that sense. So I agree with a lot of what you said there. I also think people too need to really work on empathy. I think it's a really important skill set to master, and the whole us versus them thing, I personally think is a silly construct that people put themselves under, right? Like, a lot of people say, you know, they're against the system, or they're against this framework or that framework. You know, a lot, again, those structures exist for a reason. They all have their part to play in this experience. And I think, you know, a lot of people speak from a place of not knowing. You know, I tend to have empathy for a lot of the people that operate in those structures, work in those structures, you know, are under those pressures and stressors. Like, it's not an easy thing to work at those high corporate towers, right? I think a lot of people think it's like an us versus them, but a lot of those people have families. A lot of those people have trauma, to your point. And it's one of those things where I think when people get so divisive, it really creates a negative kind of cycle. That definitely appreciate the message of unity from your perspective.
I also agree with what Lightning is saying as well, you guys. But I just want to make a correction real quick. I don't hate a person that some people choose though, and I'll end there.
Hey, I interrupt this person cast, soulcast, to tell you that my phone is gonna die, and I love you guys so much. I've got other people listening to this too, and they've been enriched by it. So see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.
Likewise, or I have to go ahead and get the day started here and start operating very much within the structure to hopefully restructure it and change it from within to a certain degree. So again, high vibes to everybody. Appreciate high frequency this morning, and thank you all for the energy exchange. Take it easy, everybody.
Love you guys.
Yeah, on the bright side though.
Are we closing out, or that was the end, or we can
No,
continue?
he announces his like dismissal because most of the time he's busy.
Got you guys. So we can still go on, or?
Yes, sir. This is a fire build, man. It's
Beautiful.
13.
Beautiful. I'm loving being here in this space with you guys. We're having a revolutionary time. We're having a revolution of love. I know you guys feel it. Something's changed in the air. Everything is different, guys. The sunset was different. It's all different.
Yeah, the sun right now is definitely emitting a new, let's say it's new to us, old to Earth. The light that is emitting off of the sun right now, man, is beautiful. It really is healing. It doesn't even feel the same as before. And every time you get the chance to get in the sun, I recommend at least like 30 minutes, because it plays on the mind and the mood. You know, when you're in the light, you feel more of light versus just being in a room in a dark setting where you're a lot more prone to be feeling melancholic, sad, idle. But you know, things just happen to literally flow to you effortlessly when you're in nature, because nature is a part of us. Lightning, is there something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I would love to say something more on that. That I really feel like what you were saying about that you don't hate any individual, that you hate what it is that's going on, and I think that that's what's going to be motivating us. That's what's going to be keeping us going forward. That we really do not like harming or having anyone else harm our brothers, sisters. We don't want anyone in pain in this world. It's a beautiful world. We live in a lovely garden planet that there's everything you could possibly imagine. I've never seen a lack. I've been here my whole life. I've never seen anything but abundance. I've never seen anything but enough food for everyone to eat. When I walk by a grocery store that's filled with all the lovely foods that you can imagine, and I see a homeless person outside that grocery store, it just boggles my mind, because literally there is a starving human being, and someone is deciding to prioritize this fake paper, over real living human beings. That one on earth, we could house everyone on earth, but instead the human race is focused on fiat currency, focused on paper, that literally we're letting our brothers and sisters starve. Grand Theft Auto 6 cost $1 billion, but children are starving in Africa. I cannot abide by that. I cannot be silent while this lunacy is going on, and I was silent for a very long time. And that's why I'm so loud. That's why I am so passionate, because I only started speaking out on March 9th. That in leading up to the blood moon, that's when I started speaking out. And I realized that my silence was the currency that bought their power. So I'll never be silent again. And I'm so grateful to you, Wise Muse. I'm so grateful to you all for allowing me to speak, for hearing me, because my whole life I've been speaking, I've been saying these same things, and no one has listened. I've been saying we should love one another and take care of one another, but nobody would listen. In fact, I was singled out for ostracization, for psychotic narcissistic abuse, for saying these kinds of things. And our hearts are in unison, brothers and sisters. We are perfectly attuned with each other, and I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for these spaces. If you are here and you are standing up for what's right, please, please know you're so appreciated, and that the work you're doing, no matter where it is, no matter what it is so important and so appreciated. And if you are standing as a light for humanity, you are literally